My name is Ethan Caldwell, and they call me Paranoid. My family, my friends, they all said I saw shadows where there were none. You read too many thrillers, my sister Lily would tease. Her eyes sparkled with that mix of pity and amusement. My father, a retired mechanic, would just shake his head and mutter about my overactive imagination. But I wasn't imagining things. I'd spent 8 years as a cybersecurity contractor for a shadowy government outfit, one that didn't officially exist. I'd seen things, encrypted files, intercepted chatter, plans that never made the news. They forced me out when I got too close to something they didn't want me to know. Now, I'm just a guy trying to keep his family safe in a small town in Colorado, USA. But that night, when the windows rattled and boots stormed our porch, they stopped laughing. I'd been watching a gray pickup truck linger on our street for 3 days. It parked under the same oak tree, engine idling, lights off. I'd memorized its plates, cross-checked them against a database I still had access to. Stolen. No surprise. I told my dad over breakfast, but he just shrugged. Kids, probably, he said, pouring syrup on his pancakes. My mom, stirring her coffee, added, Ethan, you need to relax. This is Colorado, not Kabul. Lily just smirked and scrolled her phone. They didn't see the scuff marks on the garage lock. Faint but deliberate. They didn't notice the faint hum of a drone at 2 a.m. I did, because I was trained to. That evening, I sat in my old Jeep, parked a block from our house. The suburban street was quiet, porch lights casting soft glows on manicured lawns. It looked peaceful, but felt wrong. My hands rested on the wheel, knuckles white. I wasn't home. I was on a mission. Inside, I could hear my family, clinking dishes, my dad's old rock records, Lily's laugh as she told some story about her college friends. I stepped inside and the air shifted. My mom glanced up from her casserole. Right on time. Ethan, good. My dad gave a curt nod. Lily, home from Denver University, tossed me a half smile. Check the locks yet, secret agent? She quipped. They chuckled. I didn't. I noticed a faint scratch on the front door's deadbolt. Fresh. I mentioned it at dinner. My mom waved it off. Ethan, don't start. My dad's voice was sharper. Not every creak is a conspiracy. Lily laughed. What's next, Ethan? Russian spies in the attic? I ate in silence, my gut twisting. They didn't know I'd hidden a micro camera in the mailbox or a blade in my belt buckle. They didn't know because they never listened. After dinner, I slipped into the garage. The toolbox was my cover, old, rusted, unassuming. Inside, under a false bottom, was my encrypted tablet. I powered it up, and a message blinked. Caldwell, hand over the chip, or the Caldwells bleed. No signature, but it came through a channel only my old team used. Someone with access. Someone who knew I was here. I traced the signal. Routed through a server in Boulder, too close for comfort. My pulse spiked. I was exposed. My family was exposed. I couldn't tell them without sounding like the lunatic they thought I was. I dialed Marcus, my old contact from the outfit. He picked up on the second ring. Ethan, he said, voice low, if Viper's Nest is live again, get out. Now. I froze. Viper's Nest. A Black Ops project I'd uncovered, tied to a network of mercenaries and dirty money. I thought it was dead when I left. Apparently not. I checked the chip, still hidden in the safe under my bedroom floor. It held everything. Bank trails, coded orders, names of people who shouldn't exist. I zipped my bag and rejoined the family in the living room. My mom was chatting with neighbors, her voice bright. Ethan's always been intense, she said to Mrs. Harper, who nodded sympathetically. Not a spy anymore, are you, Han? The room laughed. My dad sipped his beer, avoiding my eyes. Lily didn't look up from her phone. I stood at the edge of the room, gripping my water glass, watching the windows. The gray truck was still there. No movement. I wasn't paranoid. I was right. At 3:14 a.m., the power cut out. The house went dark, and a low crash echoed from the back door. I was already up, tablet in one hand, pistol in the other. Footsteps, heavy, deliberate, moved through the kitchen. I crouched by the stairs as three men in black gear, faces masked, swept in with military precision. My mom screamed. My dad yelled my name. Not the cops, not 911, me. A fourth man entered, slower, his presence colder. He wore a tactical vest, a snake tattoo curling around his wrist. He pointed a gun at my dad's head. The chip, Caldwell. Now, or they die. He tossed a burner phone at my feet. One call. No tricks. I played scared, hands trembling, but my mind was sharp. 3 rifles, 1 pistol. The guy by the door favored his right hand, slower to pivot left. Useful. I dropped to my knees, eyes scanning. My family was zip-tied, my mom sobbing, my dad pale, Lily staring at me, wide-eyed. "This is real," she whispered. I nodded. The leader leaned in, voice low through his mask. "You were one of us, Ghost. Now you're ours." Ghost, my old code name. Only a handful knew it. This wasn't random. It was personal. They left one guard behind, pacing lazily, earbuds in. I flexed my wrist against the zip ties, feeling the blade in my belt buckle. 9 minutes of careful cutting, and I was free. I slid to Lily, whispering, "Stay quiet." She nodded, no smirk this time. I crept to the basement, found a GPS tracker wired into breaker box. I clipped it, and a beep echoed. The guard's footsteps pounded above. I hid behind the furnace, pistol ready. When he entered, I disarmed him with a quick twist, knocked him out with a chokehold, and zip-tied him to a pipe. I led my family to the shed out back, where I'd stashed an emergency kit years ago, a Beretta, maps, a burner phone. My mom stared at me, shaking. "Ethan, where you?" I didn't flinch. "The guy keeping you alive." Marcus called. Viper's Nest is active. Funded by someone big, maybe Senator Vaughn. My blood ran cold. Vaughn, the man who'd buried my reports, called me unstable, ended my career. He wasn't just a politician, he was a player. I checked the chip in the shed. It held plans for an attack on Boulder. Chemical drones timed strikes, civilian targets. If I handed it over, thousands would die. If I didn't, my family would. Lily watched me, quiet. "They're real," she said softly. "And so are you. No jokes. Just trust." It was enough. We drove to an old factory outside town, the chip's data pointing to a backup server there. Lily insisted on coming. "I'm not staying behind," she said, gripping a flashlight like a weapon. I gave her a spare pistol, showed her the safety. She listened, focused. The factory was a decaying maze of steel and shadows. Inside, 2 men worked as server bank, screens showing drone paths and a countdown, 36 hours. I slipped the data stick into a port, copying their files. 67% done when a voice cut through. "Still playing hero Ghost?" It was Kessler, a ghost from my past, a double agent I thought was dead. He fired. The bullet hit my arm. I ducked behind a crate, blood soaking my sleeve. Lily dragged me to cover, tying her scarf around my wound. "We're getting out," she hissed. We crawled through the dark, data stick complete, and escaped to the truck. No pursuit. They wanted me alive, for now. Back at the house, it was too quiet. A burner phone on the table buzzed with video. My parents and Lily bound, a masked man pacing. "Bring the chip." Alone. Old quarry, 1 hour. Marcus called. "They're at a quarry near Boulder. It's a trap, Ethan. Vaughn's there." The chip confirmed it. Vaughn was no target. He was the architect, planning to pin the attack on a rival, cementing his power. I wired my jacket with flashbangs and a detonator, hid the real chip in a sealed case under the shed. I sent the data to Marcus. "If I don't call in 2 hours, leak it. everywhere. The quarry was a graveyard of rusted machinery. I set traps, tripwires, smoke charges around the perimeter. Kessler arrived, dragging Lily and my parents behind him. "No game, Caldwell," he said. I dropped the decoy bag. As he reached for it, I triggered the charges. Smoke and light exploded. I cut Lily free, and we dove for cover. Kessler fired, clipping my leg. I fired back, hitting his shoulder. He laughed. "Vaughn's untouchable. You're nothing." Then engines roared. FBI tactical units swarmed, tipped off by Marcus. Kessler was cuffed, along with his men, including a local cop I'd seen at our house. Snake tattoo on his wrist. I handed the FBI the decoy, slipping the real chip to Marcus's courier. Kessler smirked as they dragged him away. There's always another. I leaned in, and there's always me. Weeks later, our house looked the same, but it wasn't. A new photo hung above the fireplace. Me, bloody but standing, with my family. No smiles, just respect. The FBI offered me a job. I said no. I'd done enough. My mom set coffee beside me one morning, her hand steady now. "Tell me what it was like," she said. "All those years." I nodded. "Soon." My dad checked the locks that night. No words needed. Lily held the cracked data stick. "Teach me," she said. I saw belief in her eyes, not just in the story, but in me. I mailed a dossier to a journalist I'd worked with years ago. 2 weeks later, headline screamed, "Senator tied to terror plot." Vaughn denied it, but the truth was out. My family sat around the kitchen table, alive, asking questions. They listened now. Justice wasn't a courtroom or a headline. It was us, together, no longer silenced. Sometimes strength is just holding the line when no one else will. If this story resonates, let me know you're here. A simple nod is enough. Thank you.